What's up, you filthy flapjacks? My name is Wes, and you're listening to the Ear Coffee Podcast. Today's episode, I talked with the members of Allergen. On May 1st, they're putting out their debut EP, Honesty Hour. We talked about the band's evolution from a solo project to a full quartet, the new EP, the Twin Cities DIY scene as a whole, and more. Here's my interview with Shannon, Ev, Nick, and Anna of Allergen. How are we doing?
Good.
Yeah, we have fully converted to the Facebook Messenger video chat form of doing interviews, and because we need to stay home and stay safe. And if you aren't, then we have words for you. Let's start. I always forget to do this, but I'm remembering this time. Just with band introductions, we can go in whatever, like clockwork or clockwise, counterclockwise, whatever works for y'all. Just name your name and what you do in the band. Somebody say
Do you
something.
Want to start, Shannon?
I'm Shannon, and I sing and play guitar and write lyrics.
I'm Ev. I wouldn't say lead guitar, but like...
You play lead guitar.
Okay, I guess I play lead guitar. And I do backup vocals.
I'm Nick, and I write bass lines for Shannon's songs.
I'm Anna, and I play the drums.
Cool. I like starting with just kind of getting a background, like a general idea of how each of you kind of came to love music as much as you do, enough to the point where you are in a band or bands. So how did each of you really first connect with like music on kind of a greater level, whether that was when you were a kid or like in middle school starting first bands and stuff, just like the time when it really first clicked, I guess, or like you realize that, hey, music is really important instead of just kind of something that's on the radio.
Should we just do the same order the whole time?
If that's convenient, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying not to be like repetitive in what I said in the Bugsy one. So I'm just trying to think. But so I played piano ever since I was really young, and then I joined choir when I was like in middle school, and I really liked singing. And then I did theater. I am a former theater kid, and I've been seeing a lot of former theater kids slander on Twitter.
But we won't name names.
Slandered. And then Anna and I were in a band together in high school.
Oh.
And Anna, Ev, and I all went to a camp called Girls Rock and Roll Retreat in the summer, which is like, for people that are unfamiliar, it's like a camp for girls, non-binary, and trans youth, where you go and like you pick an instrument and then you write 2 songs and you form a band and you play the songs at the end of the week. And so I learned guitar and bass through Gurr and She-Rock. So.
For me, Hopkins, I'm not sure if they do that at every elementary school, but we had to pick in 5th grade between orchestra and band.
Yep.
And initially I picked tuba. I know, and then I switched to viola. So luckily I think that was like, a good choice in my respect. And then I started going to She-Rock since 2011, and since then I've kind of just been gaining more instruments and learning more and writing songs, and it's been just really nice to meet people along the way and get to work with people.
Gotta bring back the tuba.
Yeah.
Incorporate it in Allergen.
Yeah.
I started off in like doing any kind of music stuff like in 5th grade when they asked us to like choose between orchestra and band, and I chose clarinet. And I was like such a teacher's pet to all of my band teachers, and I was like, I'm good, I swear. And like, but then I think I got my first like keyboard in 6th grade, and I was like, I don't know how to play the piano, but I guess I can like try to teach myself. So I like taught myself piano in 6th grade, and then I kept doing clarinet, and I ended up picking up bass and guitar down the road a little bit in high school, and I started making my own music in high school too, which is something that I've like been taking a lot more seriously now, and it's a lot of fun. And was invited to play bass in Allergen, so that's where I am now, and it is very fun with all the music stuff that I do in my life.
Yeah.
For me, I guess I started the same way. I played instruments in my early like schooling years, but I didn't really take it too seriously, unfortunately. I played the trumpet, so I didn't really take it too seriously. Yeah, I didn't really get too super into like playing music until like what Shannon and Ev mentioned, joining She-Rock, and me and Shannon. Me and Shannon and Ev, we all did She-Rock together, and me and Shannon were in a band together when we were in high school, so that was kind of where I started to take music a little bit more seriously, and was like, oh, this is really fun, and it like pays off. It's a lot of fun. So I guess that's kind of where I came from. I just joined a cool organization, and they showed me that it was really fun and cool to play music. And then since then, I've been really loving playing music.
Yeah. So the three of you were connected. Ian, Shannon, and Anna were in the band, and then Ev with the camp. How did Allergen, I guess, come out of that in the full quartet format? Because I know that initially, or correct me if I'm wrong, but I think initially it's like Shannon's like lyrical project, but
Yeah.
obviously it's a full band, kicks ass. But how did it come together, I guess, the four of you?
So yeah, I realized that a year ago yesterday, I posted Picket Fence online for the first time, and I think for me, I don't know, I was doing solo music, and then I realized like the stuff I was writing didn't really fit, like how I wanted it to sound didn't fit with just me live. So I hit up Ev and Nick, because Nick and I had been talking about doing something. And I play bass in Ev's band, so Ev and I just were like, let's just like jam, and then like we ended up just kind of like having a three-piece for a little while, and then but I really wanted Ev to play guitar like really badly, and I just wanted to find a permanent drummer, and for a while, I don't know why, but I was too nervous to ask Anna, and then I was just like, Anna, can you please do this? And she was like, yeah. So then, like, it was funny because Ev used to go to I don't know if I'm allowed to say, we went to Hopkins High School in the Hopkins School District, and Ev went to elementary school and middle school with Anna, right? I don't want to get it wrong, but I think that's right.
You're right.
Nick and I went to middle school and high school together, and Anna, Nick, and I all went to high school together. So it's kind of like an overlap that we all kind of were like, had similar backgrounds, and I knew we were all the same age, so I was like, let's just all do it because it's fun and they're my friends. So
Simple but perfect reason.
yes.
Yeah, I guess since you mentioned Picket Fence, you're right, it's just this month, just yesterday, a year ago.
Yeah.
Where did I talk a little bit about where that song came from, and like why? Because it takes a lot to even just like put something like that online, even just as like a Bandcamp only, Bandcamp exclusive. And it's still up. So, because I know people are like, oh, I take my demos down, I'm ashamed. But yeah, no, it's still up. It's awesome. Talk a little bit about Picket Fence.
So I wrote that song in high school, actually. I wrote that song when my parents got divorced. It's a very much so like a 16-year-old Shannon song, but that's okay. And then I don't know, I like really just wanted to like put something out, and I had been getting into like recording and mixing, and I was really interested in mixing, and I just thought like, why not just like figure it out myself? So I bought like a really cheap used audio interface and just like tried it out, and I like recorded and mixed it in like a day. And I was like, this is fine. It's not well mixed at all, and it's like which is like, you gotta learn.
It's your first song, yeah.
First song. So I just kind of was like, why not? Let's see how this goes. I wasn't really planning on doing anything with it. And I was originally just going to put it under my name, but then I was like, there are so many cool people that put their names under aliases, and so my partner and I like sat in my kitchen and tried to figure out names. And I think Taya was like, what about Allergen? Because growing up, I had a lot of allergies. So I was like, that works.
That's funny.
So I was just like, and so I just put it out there, didn't tell anyone, just did it, and yeah. And then I guess I played a show because Bray from Bob Ross Mob Boss, rest in peace, amongst other bands, they were like, hey, I need a solo act for this bill last minute, can you do it? And I was like, sure. And then, so I guess then that's how it became like an actual thing. So it didn't intentionally start as like a performing thing, but then it did become a performing thing.
So it's all Bray's fault. We can blame Bray for Allergen.
Thanks, Bray.
Going right on, we can jump ahead about a year to Open Letter, the single y'all put out just before announcing the EP and kind of get into that rollout phase. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was just Shannon and Ev, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. We can talk a little bit about that, but I'm also curious why put that song out a month before the EP, and since it's not on the EP because the EP is all full band, is like just kind of like a way to, I guess, draw attention, like, hey, we're putting out music.
For me, it's really hard to be like, hey, this is my band, like, can we play a show, like, here's our music, and then only have picket fence up. And originally, Ev and I, we recorded 3 songs. Two of them, one of them is We Are Never Gonna Speak of Ever Again. It was so bad. It was so bad. And then the other one, Virgo Rising, we re-recorded, and that one's on the EP.
Yeah.
But I guess I was just like, I knew I wanted to release the EP in May because that's when, before, a great old pandemic happened. That's when we were all going to be out of school, and like, I don't know. I just like the first. It was a Friday. It's a good date. Why not?
Actually, putting it on a Friday instead of bands that are like Wednesday. It's like.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I kind of was thinking. So then I was like, well, we should release a single as kind of like a preface of it, but we can't release. I don't want to release Open Letter as the single for the EP. So why don't we do like March 1st, April 1st, and May 1st, just to kind of like a transition and kind of like a teaser, and then another teaser, and then the EP. So I guess, and then also like I had paid Claire, the person who recorded it, to mix it, and so it was already mixed and like mastered, and it was just like I was just sending the song to people anyways, just to be like, this is what we sound like. So I was like, why not just put it online? So yeah, and it's also, I'm putting, this is the first time I'm announcing it, but I'm putting it on Open Letter on the first 50 CDs of the EP. Ooh. So there's a bonus track.
Don't you mean DVDs? Don't you mean DVDs?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. I've been there. Yeah.
You rock. We all make mistakes.
It was so. Oh my god. Anyways.
That was. I felt really bad for laughing, but I laughed super hard.
It's okay. It was definitely a laugh moment. I was. Anyways, yeah. So, CDs are coming.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be here on Tuesday.
Yeah. Is there a reason you didn't re-record as like the full band for the EP and like just left it as like a one-off single / now bonus track on like the deluxe?
I think because we had written other songs as like a full band.
Okay.
And I just felt like the full EP, I feel like Open Letter like didn't always, I feel like it would have flowed, but I also just like I wanted to do like 5 songs. I'm sorry if you hear my cat, but we had like 5 songs, and it was already done, and I just really liked how it turned out. So I felt like, because we just were kind of running out of time. I didn't really want to like just
Cram.
do it to do it,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I definitely like the more collaborative sound and everything makes a lot of sense for the EP. Yeah, just tell me a little bit about how the songwriting kind of transitioned into that more collaborative phase once the band was like solidified and you'd been playing shows for a hot minute. Because Shannon, obviously you wrote the lyrics, but then the music flows out of all four of you, to put it pretentiously.
So yeah, I think for a lot of the songs, I guess not all of them, for 3 of the songs, I wrote them. All the songs were written in the last year, so all 5 of them were. And then 3 of them I wrote before full band Allergen formed, and then 2 of them were written post full band Allergen. And I feel like you can tell that in the music. And I feel like as we work more together, like that sound will start to continue to kind of sound more unified. Songwriting, yeah, sorry. So I think for me, I like get an idea in my head and I have to write it all down at once. So I wrote all the lyrics, and then I usually just like come to practice and I'm like, what do you think about this? And I do it, and then we just kind of jam on it, and then I say what I like and what I don't like, and we just kind of figure it out together. And so I kind of swayed away from the question. I am sorry, but
You're good.
That's the short answer. So if anyone else wants to add in, please do.
My apologies. I lost track of the question. What was the question?
Just to talk about like the songwriting, like how it's been more collaborative since, if we're using like a divisive pre-full band, post-full band like line.
Yeah, it's actually funny because Shannon and I both started like our personal musical projects around the same time, so we played some of our first shows together. So it's been very interesting seeing like Shannon transition from a solo act, just guitar and pedals, and then now just being like, I am talented! And I'm like, yeah, you are. It's been great, yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's like I put a lot of trust into Nick, Anna, and Ev because like like we've worked together musically in the past, and I trust them as musicians and people. So I just kind of let them use their artistic freedom, and then I'm kind of like, maybe try this instead, ? And that's kind of how it goes, because I play guitar and bass, but let's be honest, I don't play drums. I can't play drums, so I'm kind of like Anna.
You're so talented.
Thank you.
You can
I'm like,
speak drums.
I can speak drums, so I speak drums to Anna, and then she kind of gets it.
Anna, and Nick, what has it been like working as Shannon's minions?
Oh my god. I agree with that. Where like, I definitely feel like going to practice is a really open space to be like, to like really show that like you know what you're doing, but like we're all comfortable with it, and I don't really know. Like this is my first, like this is the first proper band that I've been in, so I didn't like have any expectations for it, but like seeing the way that all 4 of us work, is like we can kind of get stuff done pretty quickly, and we don't disagree on a whole lot, and everything goes like really smoothly, and we're all really talented. That's all I've got to say.
I know that. I mean, me and Shannon have always kind of written music together the same way, in a way. Like, Shannon usually comes with an idea, and then I'm like, well, what style do you want it to be? Because then we can make this like a killer. We can make this,
Just a jazz song.
Anna has like yeah, like there's a part of a song that I'm like, okay, can we practice this one part? And I was like, what is it? And I'm like, go crazy, go stupid. And then we just know, like we know what it is. So Anna and I kind of like have our own secret language, where I'm like, go hard on this, Anna, and she's like, okay, I got you, and then we just do it from there. So,
and then I just play that over and over again until it's the actual part for the song.
Yeah,
It comes pretty naturally with writing with Shannon, from my experience at least.
Yeah, I definitely remember in the interim of when I first like listened to Picket Fence, because at the time that was the only song that was online, and then seeing the full band live, it was like totally just not like, I was like, oh, it was just a gap in like what I was expecting. It was like, oh, this rips. This is actually like really like, it was very I don't want to say unexpected because that sounds bad, but like it's just like, and now that I've listened to the EP, yeah, you're definitely, I see what you're saying when you say like the full band, like why you put like these songs like together, and like how just it reflects like the live sound almost more, and like in versus like the more kind of like gentle not acoustic, but like solo songs.
Yeah.
I guess not to just keep focused on Shannon, but talk a little bit about some of your like lyrical inspirations, because the songs are very upbeat, a lot mostly pretty like upbeat, very like a lot of hooks, very catchy, but the lyrics very sad, very very personal. This is very like a very diaristic approach, I guess. Kind of just talk about like what goes into the inspiration for your lyrics.
I don't, this is a good question. I'm not completely sure.
That's
I
fair.
think for me, it's like, I really like strong vocals, and I really like strong music, like musical parts, and just like me personally, and that's like what I like turn towards when I'm listening to music. So that's kind of, I knew I wanted to do stuff like that, but I also like, it's hard for me to like force lyrics, if that makes sense.
Kind of, yeah.
Like I can't, if I'm not like in the moment writing something, I can't like come back to it and make myself write more. Like I need to be like in this headspace to write all the lyrics.
Yeah, you can't just like sit down and be like, I'm going to write lyrics now and expect something to happen.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, I was thinking, if we're getting like personal here, I was talking about it with my therapist, not like the music itself, but I was talking about
just show up with like the demos to your therapy session, like, hey, listen to my band.
Yeah, hey, Hannah. But it's more like we were talking about like feelings and how I feel towards like anger a lot of the time, and she was like, do you ever get angry? And I was like, I don't really think I ever get angry, and I don't think the lyrics are necessarily angry, but there was anger behind them when I was like writing them, and then I released it, and then it's like, that's it, and that's good. And so I feel like for me, like all these songs are like, were written about a very similar time in my same time of my life. They're all like I don't know, like I just wrote them when I was feeling angry. So, but like anger is sometimes like mimicked as being sad. So I don't know. I think it's just like when I was writing them, I just needed to get it out, and then it ended up being a song. So
yeah, I guess sad, like putting that like tag on something is really reductive. So I apologize for that.
No, you rock. Yeah.
But I this is kind of cliche, but I definitely thought the EP title was very fitting. It's very honest. And I think like, not to get too pretentious, like pitchfork asshole on y'all, but I think like the lyric that kind of summarizes the EP is in like the middle of Dream. I wear my heart on my sleeve to remind me it still beats. That was like,
because I have a tattoo of a heart. I have a tattoo.
Oh,
of
it's
a
literal.
Heart.
Oh, that sucks.
It's
Don't tell me
literal,
that.
kind of meaningful. Sorry.
I thought it was poetic. God damn it.
Sorry.
I'm kidding.
I mean, it is poetic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm very excited for the EP to be out. Going on, I know obviously Shannon, you are in Bugsy, and then Ev, you have your solo music. I don't remember if you've announced an EP, but you've put out like 2.5 songs because there's like a teaser or something. For sure, the two of you, how do you kind of balance? I mean, it's a little bit easier, I guess, with Shannon because Bugsy is Emily's like lyrical project. But how do you balance Allergen and your other music, and then I guess Anna and Nick, if you have like music that you're working on or you're playing in any other contexts, how do you kind of separate that? Just maybe in your brain, really, because
Yeah, absolutely. So it's actually funny. So since, as I mentioned, Shannon and I started our projects around the same time, and it was so interesting playing shows together. Because not to say that our styles are opposite, but we definitely have
Kind of.
varying genres in terms
Yeah.
of like
Yeah.
what our sets sound like. So it's nice since she plays bass for me and since I play guitar for her, it's always like a nice being able to like have that rock essence in my life, but then being able to be like, I like jazz and
Yeah.
blues and groovy stuff. And so it's really, I wouldn't say it's like necessarily easy to separate myself from Allergen, but I think that our musical visions are different, but we still have the same goal. So I think that it's very nice to like work with Shannon because I think we're very like goal oriented in terms of where we want our projects to go, but then we're not like stepping on each other's toes in terms of music and like genres and such. And I actually am recording an EP right now, but it got postponed due to the virus. But I'm like, it just means more time to make it better, I guess. So yeah, I'm excited about
that's a
that.
good
But
outlook. Yeah.
I kind of talked about this in the other podcast. It's hard to like. I don't want to be like.
Yeah,
Haha,
you were,
same
I think,
thing.
the second ever like double up.
Really?
It's you
Who
and
was the
Kate,
other one?
Kate Malanofi, because I
Oh,
interviewed her
yes.
for KFC
Kate.
and then for
Wow.
solo. Yeah,
Chef's kiss.
so you're in good company.
Yeah, honored. For me, it's like it's kind of the same thing to Ev. Where like Emily made the boundary very clear that like this is something where she kind of has like the lead and like the kind of artistic director label. That's really like a silly label to put, but like
Theater kid, yeah.
she has a very specific vision for her what she wants, and she made that very clear from the start. And I feel like for me, like I love Emily and I love Bugsy, but I also needed another artistic outlet where I could like make my own music, like and like write. And so for me, it's kind of similar to what I was saying, where like we have similar goals, we have same like the same drive, but we have very different visions of what we want our music to sound like. I feel like there's more overlap with me and with my Allergen and Bugsy than with Allergen and Ev. But I think like just kind of like talking to each other and just open communication of like making sure that like our schedules don't overlap or like we're not stepping on each other's toes too much, and just knowing the boundary of like I'm in both projects and when I'm in one, that's where my focus needs to be. I can't be thinking about other things, and I feel like just with open communication and like knowing where expectations are, that makes it easier.
Yeah.
So
I've had a solo project that I forgot when I started it, like 2017. And I like write pop music, and it's absolutely not like ever Shannon's music. I definitely take like inspiration from like any music I hear, like the way that like Shannon writes, or like the way that like I can like watch Ev play or Anna play. Like I get inspiration from like everyone I work with, and like I don't know like how I incorporate it into my music, but I'm pretty sure like I just like kind of
It's like osmosis, kind of. You just absorb it.
Like I've taken a lot of stuff, and I'm glad I have like this, because like I've never, again, like this is the first like band I've been in, and it's a lot of fun because I've always wanted to do it, but also like it's pretty easy, like keeping the two projects separate, because one, I'm like curled up like a gargoyle in my basement, like in literally garage band, self-producing pop music. But this one's like in the dusty practice space playing really nice
Yes.
rock music.
You have to stand
So
up
it's
for
like-
this one.
Yeah, I have to stand up for this one, but sometimes I sit and practice. The rhythm section
Yeah.
sits. But I've gotten a lot of inspiration for, like, I want to play more shows for my solo sets, because like I see how much fun like sets in like the DIY scene can be and all that, and like how it's a lot easier than I thought it would be to be like, I can't find shows, but just like it's really inspiring being in this band, which is like a little cheesy, but it's still like, you know,
No.
that's how it is. But yeah, that's what. Yeah, I'm not working on anything specifically either. I just like
Just
release 7 tracks at a time that are mixed in one day, and I think that's fine. But
is your project, or like the stuff that you've done, is that on Bandcamp or like online anywhere for curious fans?
it's on Bandcamp, but I don't want to. We don't talk about those. I have.
Fair.
I know Anna and Shannon know like the first song I ever put out.
I bought it. It's still in my Bandcamp collection.
Thank you.
Oh, now I can
Lot.
I can stalk that and find it.
Yeah.
Find it, I dare you.
I will.
I was listening to Summer
I'll
yesterday.
text you.
What about
What,
summer?
Anna?
Hmm?
What?
I was
Anna?
listening to Summer yesterday.
Oh, I love Summer. That's the best I've written. Anyway. And Spotify.
Um,
shit.
As for me, I'm just an Allergen right now, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We haven't practiced much because of current situation, and I
Well,
miss
yeah.
playing a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just doing Allergen right now. I've never really branched off and done like a solo thing, but I like playing in bands.
Yeah. Have you ever like wanted to, I guess, like write your own stuff and just kind of similar to like what the others were saying, just take inspiration from Allergen and turn it into your own creative expression?
Maybe a little
A
bit,
little bit.
but
I'm not trying to like
mostly
pressure
just-
you,
I
like
mostly,
like
No, I
start a
know,
solo
yeah, no.
project.
No, I know. I mostly like playing with like my friends. It's like
Mhm.
part of it for me. It's like I'm with my friends, we're having a really good time, and we're playing like super cool music.
Yeah.
And it's just like the whole experience. It's like
Mhm.
I'm with my friends. It adds to the experience.
Yeah. I think that if there's one thing that's been like entirely consistent in every band we've talked to, that's definitely the case. They're like, I like hanging out with friends and playing music. You're like, really?
Yeah.
Wow. that's
Why not
that's
get
groundbreaking. Cool. This is a kind of a nebulous question, but and you've sort of touched on it throughout your answers. What the fuck am I doing with my hands? What do each of you want to get out of the band? I guess beyond the very immediate hanging out with friends and making cool music. And if it's as simple as that, that's perfect. But if there's anything, I guess, like more cathartic or just, I don't know, beyond that, then yeah.
For me, I feel like, I don't know, I this is like one of the only things in my life that I've been super dedicated to, and like I put everything that I have into this project, and it would just be, it's like, it's been nice to just kind of like just know that like this is something that brings me joy, like only joy, and it's like all I want to do. So it's nice to, my goal is, besides like hanging out with friends and it being like an emotional catharsis to like write and play, it's good to know that I can set goals for myself and then execute them, and it's like helped me tell myself in other aspects of my life that like you're able to do this and put this through and go through with this, because like just because things can be difficult, that doesn't mean you can't do it. So it's just kind of taught me that I can like set goals for myself and then follow through with them.
For me, I guess I'm for Allergen. My hopes are because we were going to go on tour in May, but then we
Yeah.
didn't get the chance. So
Yeah.
then it's always so funny because I want to like help Shannon with planning and stuff, but then I don't know how to help like at all. So
Booking
it's
is
very
hell,
interesting.
so you're probably safe staying away from it as much as you can.
So like we just
Yeah,
show up
booking-
at practice and we're like, Shannon, what do you need?
Like play guitar.
But it's just been like it's very nice having like a safe space for music because I feel like the DIY scene is so competitive and so like everyone's constantly pitting each other up against each other, and I'm just like, I enjoy being able to go to a show and enjoy the music, enjoy the audience versus being like, was that band better than me? Like what are they thinking? Like it's just nice being able to have a safe space for music. And so honestly, I'm ready to see wherever Allergen goes, wherever Shannon wants it to go. I'm along for the ride. So
Next step, major label.
We signed to RCA in 2 weeks.
Beyonce's like, hello.
Oh,
Get the third like perfect 10 pitchforks given out like
oh my god.
immediately. Take that, Fiona Apple. God damn you.
It was a good album.
I loved it. I'm totally kidding.
Were you finished up?
Yes.
Okay. I think the only thing outside of just like hanging out with friends and like playing good music is like becoming a better musician because like my bass would always like sit in the corner of my room or in my basement for like weeks at a time, and then I would pick it up and I'd be like, ow, my fingers hurt because I don't have calluses. But then I'll like, and then I would just be like, I don't want to practice because this is like, because I never had a drive, but this is like a drive because like I want to be invested in something like this, and like to see everyone else like so invested, and to see again just like getting inspiration from all of it is a really good like outcome of being in it. And also just like the technical aspect, like getting really good practice to like where I can feel confident, like I can feel like a better musician. Like I know that I'm a better bass player than I was like in August of last year or something like that. That's really about it. I love hanging with friends and playing good music.
Bit of a hot take, but yeah, we'll accept it.
I'm sorry, what was the question one more time?
I guess if there's any like, what do you want to get out of playing an Allergen? If there's anything beyond the very immediate, as everyone has said, playing music with friends. If there's anything beyond that that kind of connects you to the band.
Yeah. I mean, I can't think of like one like overline like I must fulfill this like my quest or something, but it's like I know like personally, after I either like play a show or we have a good practice or even when we just like chat, it's like healing. I don't know if that's like, I'm sure that I can go for a lot of people, but like it's more about just like, let's keep doing like the best we can so we can keep doing this, and it can be like rewarding like personally, like mentally, stuff like that.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, kind of. I think a lot of people, that goes for a lot of people, but
Yeah.
it's just like, just makes me overall feel good and fulfilled, and I like progressing through my like instrument and stuff like that as well. But
yeah, the biggest like unifying factor, like I interviewed a band of like where they were like 30 plus randomly once, and the thing that like unifies them and like that, I guess like not quite dad rock, but it might as well be dad rock, and then like the DIY scene. If you're over 25, it's dad rock.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Like the thing that unifies those two groups is that like that catharsis that comes from playing shows and like writing music, and they're just, even if like no one externally cares about it, it's just like such a self-contained like just process where you're like, I'm going to keep doing this no matter what, even if like no one shows up to the show, but hopefully people do, obviously.
It's a good bonus.
Yeah, it's an added like a cherry on top. Yeah.
That like we're doing the right thing.
Yeah. This question is also pretty open-ended, so apologies in advance.
Right.
What is something you want to see changed or just made different in Twin Cities DIY specifically? Because I'm you don't have to go too hard, Shannon. I know we've talked about this. And because there's obviously like the general problems that like almost like trickle down from music in general, like the music business in general. But like this is like what specifically in our scene, in the shows that we, used to go to and will hopefully one day get to go back to.
Yeah. Okay, so when I say this, I know that I'm also a victim of this. I'm not going to rant for like 30 minutes, but I could.
That's what I'm saying. You don't have to do that.
Yeah. But for me, it's like, I feel like, of course we all have the same goal as musicians, and we want to be successful, and we want to like be the best. And I feel like if people don't say that, they're just lying to themselves. Because I feel like there is this, like, when I say this, I am also talking about myself. There is a level of egocentrism to be like, my music is good enough that I should expect people to pay to come watch me. Like, you have to, it's kind of like, maybe I'm thinking about it differently, but like, you have to be like really confident in yourself if you're willing to go out there and put your music out there. But it's just like, there's a lot of things that seem very ingenuine in Twin Cities DIY, with just like the communities and like everyone like texting each other about like how frustrating this band is, and then being super nice and like going like, I love this band, blah 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 blah, like they're so cool, just because it benefits them in the moment. And I feel like yes, you should be cordial, and yes, you should be polite at shows, but like going out of your way to be fake nice to people and then go and talk about them negatively later is just really harmful. And I feel like there's a huge issue in Minneapolis and St. Paul DIY where people do that. And so for me, like, that's my main issue with it, and I wish that would change, because I feel like even if people didn't like each other, in air quotes, the community would be a lot more positive and productive and like less toxic.
Yeah, just add some honesty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Allergen is a pro honesty band.
Very much so. For me, given that just to say it, like, the DIY scene isn't very diverse in terms of race, I've definitely noticed that when I go to shows, like, I get looks, I get murmurs, I get all different types of people like talking about me before they've even heard me like pick up my guitar or like say anything. And I'm like, we're all here to play music, we're all here to enjoy the same show. Like, it should not matter someone's identity unless they are like problematic, but unless someone has some sort of like something that's like negatively infecting or like violent or like impacting someone, then you shouldn't just be like, ooh, that person, ooh, like the first time you see them. Like, I can't tell you how many people have like touched my gear just because they were like, oh, you can't handle that. I'm like, it's an amp, back off. Like, I don't need your help. Like, I really don't need your help with my like PV
the things that I carry myself every other time without your help.
Pretty much.
Just to like add on that, I'm sorry. Were you done? I'm sorry.
You're right.
Okay. I just feel like, because we are like a band of that, like I don't like saying this, but we are like a more diverse and like air quotes band in Minneapolis and St. Paul, and I feel like there's been a lot of shows where like we've been added as like the token band.
Yeah. And
I'm very aware of myself as a white person, and I'm very like, as in my identity with a person who isn't a super represented person in DIY, but is also a very privileged person in DIY and in society as a whole. And for me, it's like, people should be valuing diversity, people should value representation, but if the only reason you are making a diverse bill is so that you don't look bad, you are an asshole.
Yeah.
You are an asshole, and you do not value diversity and representation. You value your ego. And that is another huge thing that I have an issue with in DIY. I'm sorry if I interrupted you, Ev, but I just needed to put that in there.
No, good, because I've had people where they'd be like, you guys are like the second Gully Boys, and I'm like, ah! I'm like,
Give me
You know,
names. We'll get the bats.
I'm like, if you don't
Dear God.
stop, like,
Firing squad.
What?
Yeah. We're bringing back the Soviet Union for these assholes. Dear God.
yeah, I think like if just by acknowledging just kind of like where, because like even as a person of color, I'm biased. Like it's just a thing that we've unfortunately as a people have just been ingrained like within history. So I think that by like just making the shows about the music again, it will be so great because I feel like so many people are like, who's in this band? Who do you know? And it's like, if you're here for the show, then like you're not really enjoying the show. Your mind is somewhere else, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's just I have many opinions, but I'll keep it there.
I don't really know thing one about the Minneapolis St. Paul DIY scene, and I'm still like noticing, like I'm trying to be mindful of a lot of stuff because it is new, and I do want to like do what I can to the best of my ability to like make sure that this is, I don't know how to like like I agree with everything Shannon and Ev said, but they just like know better than me. Like I have seen like and like heard of like a lot of like kind of like the basically like talking behind people's backs and like the whole fake nice thing. I've seen that so many times. I had like this one band director who was like, I'm so sick of like Minnesota nice or like passive aggressiveness, and I've seen that a lot. I've seen it like at shows before, and it's kind of like I don't want to see that there. Again, I really agree with Ev. It's like shows need to be about music and not about like literally anything else. But there's a lot of
it's a difficult line to toe.
Yeah, there's a lot of bands with like 5 white guys, and I'm just like.
And they're like, we're groundbreaking. We are original. And I'm
right,
like,
and I'm
you
just
know
like,
how many white guy bands, like...
I mean, I'm in a white guy band, so I agree with that. But we have a trombone, so we're special.
Right, and it's like, I like saying that as a white person, I know there's a whole trope of like, white people on Twitter saying white people suck, but it's also like, you know what, there's gotta be more. Like, I know there's more than just, like, only, like, white guy bands, and it's so frustrating to see, like, I don't know. Again, I don't know thing one about DIY when I'm trying to, like, look out for stuff and, like, I don't know, whatever I can, like, try to learn from. I'm trying to learn what not to do, at least, if I ever get more involved in this, and, like, I do want to continue, like, of course, being in this band and everything, but, like, I don't know. I don't know what I would. Anna, go. My train of thought.
I mostly try to stay out of most of it. If it's like just
that's
like
good, yeah.
banter, drama back and forth. Like, oh, this band said something they don't like our band. I'm just like, it's like also okay. I'll be the first to admit it's a little bit hard to like stay out of it just because it's like. If somebody doesn't like my band, I want to have a word with them.
I just want to talk.
But so it is like somewhat hard to like stay out of it, but you can still like be you can still like see what's happening, but also not contribute to it, and like try actively to try to I don't know how to say it. It's like be like a positive voice in. The DIY music scene. I know that it's pretty active on Twitter. I don't go on the Allergen Twitter all that much. I know Shannon does that, but I do see like every now and then some things, and I usually try to stay out of it.
Oh my god,
because
Twitter.
That's not great.
But
I think we can all agree that Twitter's bad.
It's also like important to note that Anna and I kind of got a weird lens into like 2015, 2016 DIY.
Ooh.
Because
we've been around.
Anna,
bunch of scene veterans.
Anna and I have been playing, I mean like we were like 14, but like we've been playing shows. Like we played at Paper House at one of the first Harper's Jar shows.
Okay, Clout Chaser, come on.
It was us, Harper's Jar, and Why Not at the Paper House on St. Patrick's Day in 2017. And we brought everyone Shamrock Shakes. So, throwback. So it's like interesting to compare like how people treated me, Anna, and Daniela, who is another member of our band, like how people would treat us, and we were like, oh, like there were so many instances of people just treating us so poorly because of our age, because of our gender, because of we were all present like obviously queer, like you can go into it. We were playing punk music, like you can go into it. And now that I'm older and I'm learned more about like microaggressions and like I look back and I'm like, not a lot has changed. Like it really hasn't. Like the people have changed and the bands have changed, but the attitudes and like the treatment of people hasn't. It's just gotten a lot more less. It's gotten a lot more subtle.
I can't believe like we did that. Like looking at it now and looking how much like criticism and I wouldn't say hate, but like so many people are taught, and I was very oblivious. And so like I can see it a little bit more nowadays, and that's why I try to stay out of it because I was like oblivious to it for so long, and I saw that it like did hurt people's feelings. Or like I know that I remember it being brought up like that was not cool. I just don't know how we survived that.
Yeah.
The last question I always ask, Shannon knows this, but it's I guess it's a slightly different angle. What music has been keeping you sane in quarantine? Since I know that's kind of been a universal thing, like whether it's people turning to new music or just going back to like the old stuff, just kind of as a comfort since we're all losing our minds a little bit. So what have you been listening to and turning to, whether it's local or not, just kind of as a salve, as a way to find peace as everything kind of burns, you know?
Well, this is common knowledge, but the Harper's Jar album is fantastic.
I have not listened.
What? It's really good. It's like
sarcasm. I've listened 20 times.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's solid. It's really good. It's like it's incredible.
My bit is just pretending to never have listened to Harper's Jar now. That's just my bit.
Okay. I see. I get it. Thank you for the clarification. I've been listening to, I don't know if anyone's familiar, there's an artist, she's from Iowa, and her name is Squirrel Flower.
Yeah, I haven't listened, but I've heard of her.
She's really cool, and her music is really cool. My partner and I listened to Vices and Virtues by Panic at the Disco. Listened to the entire album.
Underrated. Underrated
like,
Panic
like,
album.
This is so good. Like, this is just so good. Keep for Cheap EP is really good, and that's old. Mrs. Pinky and the Great Fox is really good. They're from Minnesota. Okay. That's probably it for me.
For me, it's I kind of feel bad for my roommates, to be honest with you, because I've been like really into classical music lately, but just like because I know it so well, I've been like screaming it. So I've been like singing along, even though there's no words. I'm just like ba da da, ba da da da, ba ba, and then keep doing, and I'm like, I couldn't even tell you at this point. So I'm just kind of like screaming classical music, and then also I downloaded this app where you can like talk to strangers across the world. I swear I'm safe. Like no information is being given. But then I like to like exchange playlists with people from like around the world to see like what they listen to and like what they like, and it's been really interesting and nice being able to hear like what someone like in the Netherlands listens to or what someone in like Malaysia is listening to versus me being like Billie Eilish. So yeah, that's been what I've been doing music wise.
I definitely feel the screaming along to instrumentals thing. Just jazz, man, come on.
It's therapeutic. It really is.
Quarantine or not, I feel like my like music taste is fucking surface level, but that's just
that's okay.
I've been like, I feel like I have been so late to like listen to Radiohead for some reason, because I feel like they're such a household name and everyone's like Radiohead, but like, oh my god, I've been getting into Radiohead during this whole thing.
Favorite album of theirs so far, just out of curiosity?
First of all, Kid A is not that good. I don't like it.
Bitch.
I
I'm sorry. Keep talking. I won't.
I don't like it. In Rainbows or A Moon-Shaped Pool.
Okay, correct. Thank you. I was only looking for validation when I asked that, so you got 2 out of 3. I'll give you that.
I've been listening to Bugsy's EP Teratoma. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
I cannot fucking stress how much I love that EP. I'm not even kidding. It's one of the. It's so good. It's
Thank you.
really, really good. I've been listening to that a lot.
Yeah, the bass is okay on it.
I've been listening. I don't even want to say it. I've been listening to a lot of 21 Pilots.
Okay, I will defend your honor. 21 Pilots is the hate is not needed.
It's not.
It's just fun. I used to be so into 21 Pilots. My friends and I dressed up as Tyler, Joseph, and Josh Dunn once for Halloween. Oh my Nick
God.
was there.
I was there.
Nick and
You
I
showed me Donner in the lunch.
I showed Nick 21 Pilots.
I showed Shannon 21 Pilots.
Oh.
Anna. No, tell your 21. Oh, sorry, Nick, you're not done.
I don't know if any of y'all have been to a 21 Pilots concert recently. I haven't, but I hear you have to wait in line for 2 days and bring a tent. I remember
I can confirm
in
that.
8th grade. I think it was like 2014. Don't even remember when 8th grade was. Probably before. I don't even remember.
Time isn't real. It's fine.
It was at the Skyway Theater.
Uh-huh.
And we forgot the tickets. The show was like starting. We came back with the tickets, and there was still no line, and we got right in, and still like got just right in the pit, right up like.
They played The Myth in like 2016,
I
and like
went
We went to that show.
Yep.
We went to that show.
there were so much. I could not. It was like being a sardine. It was horrible. They did great, but I hated it. I waited in line for like 5 hours and brought my fucking 3DS. Jesus.
They kicked someone out.
Yeah, I remember that.
They for their last tour, for the Bandito tour, I camped out both years. I was 63rd in line in 2018.
Wow.
I was 6th in line. I held up Tyler Joseph during Holding On to You. Sob. Anyway, I've been listening to 21 Pilots.
We are now talking about 21 Pilots.
Yeah. This
Anyway,
is.
You do have to camp out
Yeah.
for at least 2 days. People in Florida camped out for a straight week and were put in like a subway, like a train station, like a subway
Not a restaurant.
ground below the venue. And it's crazy.
Jeez.
Radiohead, 21 Pilots,
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Taratana, fucking Lord, as always. That's about it.
Before we go to Anna, I will just state that Vessel is a great album, and no one can change my mind.
Vessel
Go
is
on.
a good album.
Subtitled is their best.
I'm a vessel
Ooh.
bitch.
Okay, old school. Kid A
I'm a
hater.
best bitch.
Anna, let's jump to
Anna, your turn.
Oh, what are we talking about? What have we been listening to?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
local or otherwise. What have you been listening to in quarantine?
Oh, I've been listening to some shit. I've been listening. I don't know the genre, why it's. I've been listening to like hyper pop.
Okay, is it like 100 gag or whatever 100 gags or whatever?
Yeah. I've been listening to,
And Charlie
or, like,
XCX.
also like DJs,
Charlie.
stuff like that.
Mhm.
Charlie, I've come to love Charlie XCX this quarantine.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, a lot of like that scene. I've been bumping some Marina.
Oh, okay.
Anna has the Marina tattoo.
Wow. So, she opened for Coldplay in like 2013 before like anyone knew who she was. Both her and Charlie XCX opened for fucking Coldplay, I think. And I had no idea who
What
they
year
were.
was that?
It was I was in like 9th grade or something, so it was like 2013 or 14.
I mean, I suppose that makes sense for like the Family Jewels era, but like
It was like her first
not
EP or
Coldplay.
album or something. I don't know.
Weird.
It was really weird. And
I bet it slapped though.
I did not appreciate it in the moment. I was just a tiny, sheltered little white boy who I'm like, I like Coldplay.
God.
Who's Marina and the Diamond?
Yeah, it was the full band name or whatever. But yeah, cool. Is that it? Cool. Okay, that was more like a I'm checking, not like a you need to say more. Just that was awesome. Thank you. I think we're about done, unless you have anything else you want to just toss in that we can edit in or something.
Listen to Honesty Hour on May 1st when it comes out, please.
Yeah, the EP comes out on Friday, May 1st. I feel like we should have said that at some point before, the very last moment. But we'll put that in the intro or something so people know what's up.
It's a very good EP.
Yeah, it's
yes.
very good. I'm an external source. You can trust me more than them. They're biased.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on and being willing to figure this out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The Ear Coffee Podcast is a companion to the blog of the same name. If you like this episode, please leave us a rate and review so we can stand out among the other music podcasts. You can follow us at Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram @Ear Coffee. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.